Welcome back, Embers, or if you're new here, welcome to the Campfire Crew. My name's Stone, my pronouns are they, them, and today we're going to be doing the third update of Pan Those Palettes. So, if you're new here, I will leave a link to the playlist, but we are working on two palettes. We're working on the Carnival 3, which I'm hoping to hit pan on every remaining shade by the end of the year, and my Divina palette, which there are 4 shades in here that I'm trying to use 15 times each this year just to get some more usage on them. So as per usual, we're going to start with the least exciting update, which is my Divina palette. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my very sticker covered notebook. Wow, I can't say words today. So in here, we are working on these 2 greens, this gold and this purple, so these in this L. And basically, I just have to use one of these shades between them 5 times in a month to hit 15 uses on each of them. I hope that makes sense because I don't know if it does. So let's start with this green Parthenos. As you might be able to tell, since we just left March, I was focusing mostly on these 2 greens. So Parthenos, this green to blue shimmer, I used 2 times in the month. The next one, Patina, I also used 2 times in the month. Majesty, I used once in the month, and I mixed it with Parthenos to make a gold greeny shimmer, and it was so pretty. And then I did not use Nemesis this month. So yeah, we have 5 uses between these, so we're perfectly on track. I got some use out of these, and I'm just overall pretty happy. We're starting to get a dip in Majesty, which I'm really excited about because these are some deep, deep pans. So that's our usage on this guy. As per usual, Parthenos is the one with the biggest dip, and it will probably stay that way. If I ever hit pan on any of these, it's probably going to be Parthenos first, even though Majesty has the most uses. Actually, Majesty and Parthenos have the exact same amount of uses at 22 uses each for the time that I've been tracking them. Now, let's get into the really exciting update, which is our Carnival Hour, which is my Carnival 3 Love Tahiti palette, and this is what this was looking like last month. And my goal for this month, for March, was to hit 2 pans, and this is what this palette looks like this month. So I'm going to put up a picture of all the shades, and we're going to go over them based on what I've used. So the first shade in this palette was one of my focus shades. It is Bamboo. It was the only proper green left in this palette to pan, so obviously I focused on that. I used it 4 times this month for a total of 17 uses, and it has a pan in it now. I'm so excited. This pan isn't huge, but it's not the tiniest pan I've ever had, and it also could definitely be expanded relatively easily. Maybe not in the first use, but I think 5 more uses and it could be a pretty decently sized pan. So I'm really happy about that. The next shade I used is the one right under Bamboo, Key Lime. This green I used once. And under that we have Vanilla, which is a white with a kind of bluey green shift. So I used that 4 times. It already had a pan on it, but it was very nice to use with these greens. It's a really beautiful shade with greens and blues as just a lightening up shade, so I'm really glad I got some usage on that. After that, we have, in the next row, the shade Khaki, which I used 2 times for a total of 8 uses, and it already had pan on it. This, through the 2 extra uses, has definitely become a much bigger pan. It was very, very focused before, but now it looks like a decent sized pan, so I'm really happy to see that pan expansion. After that, we have Tahiti Green, which is the green shimmer. I used that twice. It already had a pan on it, and this has been used 23 times in total now. Under that, we have Tropics. I used Tropics once this month. We have a lot of green shades that I've been using, obviously. And that has a total now of exactly 20 uses, and we hit pan on this in January this year, which is really exciting. The next shade we have also has pan on it, which is so exciting. I actually forgot to mark that it has pan on it, so I'll do that after this. But Reef, I did not think I was going to hit pan on. I ended up doing my makeup twice in one day earlier last week, and I basically just used Reef. So I did it as my pre-shower makeup look, and I just put Reef everywhere, and then I had a shower, wiped off all my makeup, and then put it on again everywhere to get the pan. And I used it one time additionally after that to expand the pan a little bit. It is a decent sized pan, but this one I really had to work for. So I used this 8 times this month, which doesn't sound like a lot, but I rarely ever get that many uses in one shade in a month. Because I just don't use makeup that much, but I had to use it 8. I had to use it 7 extra times to hit pan, and then I used it 1 extra time just to expand that pan a little, and because I just really wanted to do a look with that. And because of that pan in Reef, this entire row now has pan on it, which I am so excited about that. The last shade in this row is Lagoon, which had a pan on it in January, and I used it 1 time this month. Next up in the third row, we have Cocoa, and I used Cocoa 3 times. So 1 time, I know for a fact, was with Reef as a mint chocolate chip look. It was with Reef and then Cocoa as like a liner kind of shade, like a wing, and it was so pretty. I know I tried using Cocoa as a bronzer. That didn't work. I should have known it wouldn't work because it's way too dark for me. I don't know why I thought that was going to be a good idea. It was not. But I tried it, and I don't remember what the last use was for, but we have a total of 19 uses in this. It barely looks used. I'm pretty sure I used it as a mixing shade. I use Cocoa and Lagoon as mixing shades for my eyebrows. I definitely used that once. Oh, that's probably how I got Lagoon too. So yeah, 3 extra uses in that, and it's nowhere near pan. That one's going to be a tough one. The next shade we have that I used this month is Tan Lines, which I used 4 times for a total of 19 uses. It's starting to get a little bit of a dip, but mostly I use it the way I did today, which is as a blush. So my blush today is Tan Lines. That's not counted in the usage here because it's the first of the month. But yeah, I love Tan Lines. It's probably my favorite shade to use as a blush in this palette. It's Tan Lines and Sand are the ones I've grown really fond of, but I love using Tan Lines. It's such a, I don't know, I find it such a beautiful sun-kissed shade, and I just really like it, so I use it a lot as a blush, and that's how I've used it in March, and I again used it 4 times for a total of 19 uses since I've gotten this. After that, I used Ginger. After I tried using Cocoa as a bronzer, I tried using Ginger. That also didn't work. So I'm just going to stop trying to use bronzer because I don't even really know what bronzers or contours do or what they should look like. So I think I'm just going to give up on that and just enjoy the blush and the lipstick as an added little bonus. I don't think I need to get into bronzer or contour or whatever the fuck I was trying to do because it was bad. And I'm too fair for those colors, and I don't know why I tried. Anyway, the next shade I used was Sand. I used it twice for a total of 27 uses. This had a pan last year, and that pan is slowly growing. I think soon it's going to be about the size of mango. It looks like it could expand a lot if I use it on my eyes like a couple more times. It's definitely one of my bigger pans in this palette. After that, I used coral. I used it twice. Once I used it to mix in with tan lines as a blush to make it more of a like summery blush, which was, I believe it was really pretty. So I definitely want to try that again. But I also used it in a look with Reef that I did after I hit pan on Reef, which was Reef in the inner corner and then coral mixed with a shade from my Project Level Up on the outer corner, and it was so pretty. I absolutely loved that look. My boyfriend said it made me look like Avatar. The blue people, not Avatar The Last Airbender, though I do love Avatar The Last Airbender. So that has now a total of 9 uses. It has a bit of a dip. It's actually starting to form a dip, but this is definitely probably going to take at least 15 uses before it hits pan, if not in the 20s. But that's definitely going to be a fun shade to focus on. I think I'm going to focus on it in the summer. After that, I used Bear once, probably as a blush maybe. I don't know what I use Bear for. I don't know. I am trying to pretend I do. And that has a total now of 22 uses. I used Hibiscus, and it already had pan. I used it once this month for a total of 12 uses. The next shade I used was Sundown. I used it once for a total of 24 uses. After that, I used Bloom also once for a total of 9 uses. I used Blue Moon, which is the purpley shade that does not have pan, once for a total of also 9 uses. This is starting to get a dip, but not much of one. So it's definitely going to take a while. With these shades, I tend to like to use my fingers. So the shimmers actually take a lot longer to pan on than the mattes, because most of the mattes are very powdery. Not all of them, but a lot of them are quite powdery. And so they're really easy to hit pan on. Where because I use my fingers with the shimmers, they actually take quite a bit longer than the mattes, which is very atypical, but that's how it is in this. And Blue Moon has 9 uses. There's a lot of things with 9 uses, I'm realizing. The next shade I used is Lilac, which already had a pan on it, but I used it 2 additional times for a total of 13 uses. And now we're on the last shade, which is Black Beach, which is the black, obviously, and I used that 2 times this month. It does not have a pan. It doesn't even have a dip. But it is starting to show some wear. I'm definitely getting below. Some of these shades have kind of a layer of hard pan, and it's definitely getting under that layer. So hopefully that will start to go down. And I'm also going to try and use it at least a couple times a month, and then probably focus on it in like November, maybe, to hit pan on it. But yeah, if I use it a couple times every month, we can at least start working on that progress. So I'm glad I used it 2 times for a total of 11 uses. But yeah, Black Beach is another one I'm very worried about. Okay, so I'm going to insert a picture of the color story that I used this month of all the swatches. And I'm going to swatch for you the colors that I think I'm going to use this month. So originally I kind of thought I was going to use Coral this month, but I decided for spring I was going to use some different kind of colors. Unfortunately with this palette, what I have left in it is not any of the bright vibrant shades. We're starting to get to the point where I have 1 blue left, I have the browns, I have tan lines, I have coral as like my one fun shade, and then we have this entire thing of purples and this black. So purple is kind of going to be the theme for pretty much every month going forward. So the purples I decided to work on this month, I decided to try and use some of the brighter colors this month. And I have decided, I originally was going to use Fruity, but then I swatched it out, and Fruity is actually much darker in swatches than it looks in the pan. It looks to be the lightest color that I have left, but actually I found that magenta was much lighter in a swatch, so I decided to use the shade Magenta, which I am wearing today, and it's the first, so this will count for next month. This is the shade Magenta, and this is the swatch. Oh, let me do that again, and then I'll also put a picture of a close-up. I'm just going to do this facing me this time. Okay, so that's 2 layers. That's magenta. I'll also have a picture. And then I'm going to use rose pink. I believe, yes, in February I focused on pink lily and rose pink. So I'm going to focus on rose pink again because I think it's springy. I have it on the inside of my eye today. So rose pink is pretty much, yeah, rose pink is the lightest shade I have left to hit pan on. It's a really light pinky purple shimmer, and it's the only shade I have in this palette that really screams spring to me, so I knew I needed to use that. Of course, this is what rose pink looks like. It's just a really pretty light pinky shade, very sparkly. And I use it mostly on my inner third. I have it on today over pinks. And I know that these are going to look great together because I'm wearing them together today. Other focuses is I have a pretty freaking big dip on the deep. So today I used these 2 focus shades. I used Black Beach to get an extra use on Black Beach. And I also used the deep as a liner. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I'll try and put a picture of my makeup up. But I used it as a liner, and I think it's a really pretty addition to this look. It's definitely, this look is not very spring-like, but again, I don't really have a lot of spring colors left in this palette, and I wanted to save coral for the summer, just because it's such a bright shade. I thought it'd be perfect for the summer. So I might actually try and hit pan on the deep and use the deep as, which is the dark blue, as a liner. I'm not sure I'll use it enough to actually pan it, because now that I've swatched it, I realize it's not quite as deep as I thought it was. But I'll definitely try and use it as a liner a couple times in a very similar look to what I'm doing today. I'm probably going to do this look a couple times. Because it seems like a very useful look to pan. I usually don't pan looks, but I think this month I might actually pan this exact look and just do it a bunch of times. But yeah, so my main 2 focuses are these 2 colors, magenta and rose pink, which are the top 2, and then I might also try and hit pan on the deep. So for this month, because I hit 2 pans last month, I only need to hit 1 pan this month so I can focus more on my project Level Up. But if I manage to, I don't know, I might try and hit more pans anyway. Yeah. I might dedicate my first 2 weeks this month to hitting pans. But then I remember that I also have to get my uses on my Divina palette. Now, the thing about my Divina palette is the colors I chose are also not very spring. So I think I might focus actually on the 2 shimmers, Majesty and not Patina. Patina's the Parthenos, thank you. And mix those 2 together 2 or 3 times to make a really pretty, because together they make a really light golden green color, and that actually would be really pretty for spring. So I think that's what I'm going to do. If I do that twice, that'll be 4 uses. So if I do that 3 times, that'll be 6 uses, which would be great. So I think I'll do that. But yeah, we'll see what I can do. I know that magenta, I used it today and it's so powdery. I ended up getting a pretty decent sized dip in just 1 use because it's just such a powdery shade. So I feel like I can hit pan on this really quickly. And we'll work on these two as well while I'm doing it. And that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Bye!